Subscribe now. EU Debates.
Our next speaker is His Excellency Mr. Emmanuel Macron, President of France.
Monsieur le Président de l'Ukraine, cher Volodymyr, Mesdames et Messieurs les chefs d'État et de gouvernement,
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, dear heads of states and governments, ministers, ambassadors, dear friends, it's been 8 years since the Russian illegal annexation of the part of Ukraine, more specifically the Autonomous Republic of Crimea and the city of Sebastopol. And thus it has violated the fundamental norms of the international law. France defends the norms that guarantee the international security. This is why France has always supported the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Ukraine and will continue to do so. The occupation of Crimea by Russia is a clear deterioration of the situation with the human rights on the territory of the Crimea, and we've seen this and we've mentioned this during the General Assembly of the UN. And local population suffers because of that. I would like to remind Russia of its commitment on compliance with the norms of international law. A year ago, we've already met to condemn the annexation of the Crimean Peninsula. Unfortunately, Ukraine has selected the path of diplomacy, while Russia has selected the path of war. And once again, it has violated the fundamentals of the international law and starting its full-scale aggression on the 24th of February. France and the European Union, as well as other allies to Ukraine, shall support your struggle, your defense, because this is a justice struggle for your sovereignty, for your territorial integrity, and our decisiveness was not changed. We are ready to continue with our efforts on the long-term perspective. The international community condemned this aggression, and I would like to say on behalf of all of our European friends, the friends from Africa, from Asia, from Latin America. What is happening now in Ukraine is not only about the Ukrainian people. Of course, primarily this is the fight of Ukrainian people for its independence and freedom, but it's all about all of us, because we feel the consequences of this war, and it has to do with all of the other countries. It destabilizes the international norms and rules. There's humanitarian consequences, the consequences in terms of energy and food supplies. All of these is the consequence of the choice made of Russia, that is to attack Ukraine on the 24th of February. The war started by Russia is the war against the very principles of the international law that regulates our relationship. Many countries that have gathered today, that struggled for its own freedom, decolonization, they're here with us today because they have protected their own rights for self-determination. What is happening today is not only a war on the territory of Europe, it's all about the universal principles. There is our ability to live in peace and friendship with respect to sovereignty, territorial integrity, which are the fundamental and major values and the principles of the international order, which serve as the preconditions for guaranteeing the peace. Russia has made choice, despite its commitments that they've taken 30 years ago. Russia has made his choice to step away from those principles, and we believe this is a weakness. It's all about the freedom of all us and the peace in all parts of the world. This is why I would like to call upon Russia to cease the military actions and to withdraw its forces from the territory of Ukraine, and to use all forms of diplomacy in order to protect Ukraine, its territory, and its future. Recently, we've seen that the war is also about the Crimea, just as the rest of the Ukrainian territory of the past 6 months. And today, we've seen a lot of victims and casualties among the Ukrainian population, and I would like to express words of condolences to the families of the victims of this aggression. Mr. President Volodymyr, allow me once again to reaffirm my respect, the respect of the people of France with the struggle, with the defense waged by the people of Ukraine every day. This is the fight for your sovereignty, your future, your children, and this is the fight for our universal principles. This is what I wanted to say today in my statement through video conference. Today, the future of Ukraine is being decided. And we shall stay together with you today, tomorrow, the day after tomorrow. But I wanted to say that this is also a fight for the principles of international law that has to do
Thank you,
with
Mr. President.
the case of all of us.